Chronicles.
Hello boys and girls, gents and women, this is Brown Boy Chronicles, Season 5. A collective of 4 brown boys bringing you the latest updates about life, hot takes on music and fashion, mixed with some clown behavior, and overall just good vibes. Hope y'all enjoy and appreciate y'all tuning in. Enjoy, fam.
Welcome to another episode of Brown Boy Chronicles. This is episode 7, and this is your co-host speaking, Lucky.
This is KB.
This is Harvey.
You have a question. Pretend some shit happened. We're all out and about. Some shit happened and we all end up in jail, right? Would y'all snitch on each other?
Depends on what the situation is. Like, I don't think any of us are going to be in a situation where we have to snitch. Like, I think all of us are just going to keep it honest. Like, none of us are like...
No, but this is hypothetical.
Probably. I'm not going to jail for your ass.
I mean, not me. What if it's Harvey or something?
I'm not going to jail for y'all asses.
What if you were the one that did it? Would you expect us to snitch?
I don't expect any of y'all to keep it real when it's behind bars. I won't expect myself to keep it real behind bars. That's why I'm not made for the streets. I'm made for that white collar shit.
If you did something, right, and we snitched, would you feel some type of way?
Probably, but probably in the initial, I'm like, yo, they ratted me out, but then it is what it is. I feel like that's just human nature. You're gonna look out for your best interest. Like, if anyone's looking at fucking time, that's like precious 5 fucking years. Like, I wouldn't expect anyone to like hold it down for me if it's not like my true family members like that or like shit like that. If I'm actually in the guilty.
Wait, this might be a better question. Pretend we're like all driving, or like you're driving, you're the driver of the car, and you accidentally hit someone. And then we end up like, would you expect us to, 1, bury the body with you, 2, snitch on you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you expect out of us?
Honestly, I feel like I'm such a soft ass. I feel like I would snitch on myself. I feel like I would call the cops myself because I don't want this shit to like, I feel like I wouldn't be able to go to bed with a clear conscience. Like, that's just like how I am. So like, I wouldn't be able to do this like street shit where like, you know, I have to hide the body and like live in like an alter ego. Yeah, like a different personality. This is like, you know, Lucky V2 or some shit like that, bro. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I feel like I would snitch on myself. I feel like I'll be the first one to call 911, be like, yo, this is a situation. I'm sorry. I'm a US citizen. Please go easy on me.
How about you, Harvey?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I'm not one to like, I feel like my conscience isn't as guilty. I mean, I've definitely done like questionable things in life and whatnot, but like it doesn't like keep me up at night because at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel like I just move on.
No, but you wouldn't try like pretend like you would you help Lucky if he like hit a body?
Like, would you get your hands dirty like if it was like for one of your boys?
Yeah, probably not because I would have to, I mean, it depends on the situation. There's a lot of factors at play.
What about if it was Japman?
Yeah, I would get my hands dirty.
I mean, I would expect him to do that for like your wife. I mean, I would do that for my wife too.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
My mother, my children, or all that other shit.
I agree. Wait, yo, talking about this. Wait, have y'all watched the movie Good Marriage? It's on Amazon.
No. What is it?
It's basically this. So it's his husband and his wife, and then the wife finds out basically that the husband, like years later, they've been married for like years, like 20, 30 years or some shit. And the wife finds out that the husband is a serial killer, like randomly, like in the garage. She found like evidence of like someone's ID or something. And she found out that the husband's a serial killer and he's been going on these business trips basically like to kill people instead of like, you know, like he's doing the business, but he's like killing people at the same time. And she like matched the locations with murders around her. What would you do in that situation? Especially you, Harvey. Like, what if you found out, like, if Japman was a serial killer, where your life could be at threat too? You know, I think that's a little bit different.
I mean, that's a hard thing to imagine because I feel like you might say some things. I mean, I feel like it's hard to say right now because I feel like everything is circumstantial. Because, like, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd like imagine like what I would do now, but like if that actually were to happen, I feel like maybe I react a little bit differently. Because I mean, you have to take in like all those years into consideration. You have to take in like your life and the life that you had and all that stuff. Like that's the same thing with saying like, oh, yo, like this kid just went up, shot up a school, and then you go and talk to the parents. Are the parents like, oh no, like my son's like an evil person, blah, blah. A lot of times the parents are like, I don't know what happened. Like he's such like a good kid. Like I would never saw this coming. Like a lot of it's like that situation because like love prevails all in those kind of situations. And you think you have a definition of like how you should feel with that person and what you do feel with that person. And no matter what the actions that they do, it doesn't skew those feelings. So I mean, if it wasn't like if it wasn't like probably like affecting my life on a day-to-day basis, I don't know what I would think of it.
Is there anything that would like kind of question your, like, obviously all of this is like built up of years of, being together, you build a bond and all that goes into play of like love and all that shit. But after that, like, let's just say you find out some heinous shit. Do you think that bond would waver a little bit? I think is like the main question.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's like your life's kind of at threat too now. Like pretend she's a serial killer, and then you're like, oh shit, she kills people. Like, oh shit, she could kill me.
Yeah, what if you piss her off one time and she gone girls you?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, you could kill somebody at any point. It's not that hard, especially if you're living with somebody. If she didn't kill me for all these years, what's gonna make her like kill me out of nowhere now?
Because you found out her dirty secret, dog.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This man's questioning his whole like relationship with her now.
We're putting him in the gauntlet right now.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still like, I mean, it's loyalty over love per KV. So
it's like the same situation kind of with like the Heisenberg. Like I feel like that's a little bit more tame because actually
fuck her. I hate her.
Who's Skylar? Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated her. I mean, if she makes you hate her, like she did her job well as an actor, right? So, but I'm saying, like it's the same situation that way, but he did more drug dealing and stuff like that. I mean, he did murder people. I think she did find out. But yeah, remember that scene where he's like, I am. What did he say? Oh, I am the danger.
Yeah, no. Yeah, actually, yeah. So like, I mean, Rinku, have you watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I like started it, but then like didn't finish it.
So like, yeah, let's just put you in this scenario. Like you are Skylar and like JM's is Heisenberg. Would you like still like be your happy-go-lucky, like, oh, it doesn't affect my life? Because like it didn't really affect her life. Like she was like didn't know anything was going on, and you're just doing this shit, stashing money behind her back. So like when she died, like the son and her were kind of just taking care of her, or like taking care of financially. The motive was like with good intentions, even though he had to like get his hands dirty. So like, would you take that into consideration? Like, oh, Jutman was killing to like make sure like she didn't get the urge to kill you. She killed other people because she loved you so much, even though she wanted to kill you.
Yeah, I think that's different. With good intention, I think any of us would be like, okay, whatever. Like you're doing it with good. Like, as bad.
I mean, I don't know how serial killing is a good intention unless you're doing it like against people that like that you get financial gain from, but.
Not serial killing in terms of, I'm talking about the Heisenberg situation where he just basically made drugs and sold drugs just for money for his family.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think that I'd be like, okay, like there's good intention and I probably wouldn't do anything.
I mean, the whole world on drugs thing, I just don't agree with to begin with. So, I mean, if somebody's like making their bands with that, like it's fine. It's just supply and demand at the end of the day.
Like, do you think it should just be all legal and then we have like,
I think it should be regulated.
I mean, so some shit should definitely not ban totally. Like opioids should be banned totally. Meth should be banned totally.
Yeah, anything that's super like harmful to the body. Like, I mean, like fentanyl should not be like legal. Like these kind of bans should be eradicated from like the universe. I mean, they're synthetic, human made. But things that like come from the plant and come from the earth and all that, and like are relatively okay, I think deserve like just regulation and taxes and all that.
It's kind of heading that way. It's kind of wild to think. Like, I don't know, like,
I mean, alcohol is like one of the worst drugs possible. How many people we lose to death, like from alcohol, like from drunk driving and shit? It just happened to be that alcohol became the drug of like social norm.
I mean,
does that mean it's the right drug for that? Like, is that the drug that we should be all like just escaping to and it should be legal and everybody's making us money? No, but like everybody's just so used to it, nobody wants to change the system.
That's why like drugs, like weed isn't really a thing in most states because of cigarettes. Like the cigarette companies are going to face like basically like less profits and shit.
Yeah, I mean, everything has a background. I mean, the thing is people were smoking weed and they didn't want to fight war because like they're like, oh, I'm chilling. It made people think in ways that like bigger powers didn't want them to think. Hence they ban them. I mean, a lot of this shit is banned for all the wrong reasons. Because from a political standpoint and from like power standpoint,
I don't know. I feel like you can't really compare like apples to oranges. I think those are two just different things.
I mean, I just think like everybody thinks alcohol is like a fine dine, like it's a fine dine drug, and it's like
I
okay.
think that narrative has changed. Like it's just grandfathered in. It's just more socially acceptable. Like, but there's just been so many studies that actually tell you like it causes problems. Like this is like no one thinks alcohol is fine, but it's just like more readily available. But when people use that as like a comparison to like weed and all other shit, I don't think that is a good comparison because like it's just like what's the lesser of two evils? But they're both evil. Like at the end of the day, like both are doing you dirty. Like there just hasn't been enough research behind weed and all this or psychedelics and shit like that. I mean, I'm sure like there are good things about it. I think there's also good things about alcohol too. Like him being a social lubricant is fucking fire. Like, people gets people talking and shit like that.
But that's not good for you. That's like, I mean, why does like it being a social lubricant make it good? It's still harm to your actual like health and body and all that. I think everything is good in moderation. Like nothing is bad in moderation. It's like when you start consuming at excessive levels, that's when things become bad. It's extremely easy to become like alcoholic. Somebody is not gonna start like ODing on like psychedelics. Psychedelics is like, oh, like, you'll do it and then like there's no addictiveness to it. Like there's not people out here like that are fucking tripping every single day. Like I mean, from what I know and what I've read, like that's just not a thing. Like people don't actively try, but alcohol, there's addictive behavior behind it.
Also, what if there was no alcohol? Like, look at like the Qatar World Cup. Like, I'm just saying, like, if there wasn't that history of just alcohol, like, dude, when you're working or whatever, you're like, yo, Friday, like, let's go get drinks, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. Look at how many people. Let's look at like Muslims, one of like the biggest religions in the world. And they are people that do not drink whatsoever. That's a vast majority of the world. Are they not social beings? Are they not people that like communicate and like have meetings and have conferences, have like outings and stuff like that without alcohol consumption? They do. So like, why is it like, why do you think it needs to be a social lubricant? Why do you think society needs it?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can also draw like positive things with everything that like what you're talking about, but that doesn't necessarily make it good. I was just giving like the devil's advocate for like alcohol, like what the positive could be, like what people perceive it to be good for, like the social lubricant side of things. People say weed is like a creative thing, like that's like the one positive thing, like it calms down people's anxiety. Psychedelics is more so like for spiritual shit, like that's like the positive things. But those two other things outside of alcohol, they just haven't had research done. We don't know like what the downstream effects of smoking a lot of weed or taking psychedelics a couple of times a year, like what that actually does right now.
I mean, there is a lot of research, but it's all just like buried. All that stuff's been like long been researched. And then it went like 20, 30 years back in like
since it's not like research hasn't like been like pushed publicly and hasn't been peer reviewed now, like I think it's getting to that point. Like I'm sure it has been researched, but like not to like the fine granularity to like what alcohol has been put through like over the years, like what weed is now getting put through. So until we get to that, like I don't think you can just say like alcohol is the worst, everything else is okay in moderation, or like
I'm not saying alcohol is the worst. Alcohol is fine in moderation too, but I'm just saying it's just like such a like, why did alcohol become the drug of choice for people? That's what I'm saying. Like it's like, oh, alcohol became the drug of choice. Alcohol is just like this norm. It's available at any time. You can go to stores and get it. You can go to the bar and get it. Like that's just what society has adopted. Like, did society make the right decision adopting that?
the history of it, I think before that, like that's just like all they had. Like they do just like ferment wine, like ferment grapes, and like that was like the only thing they were known. So it's like the history attached to it. Like I think our ancestors just didn't know like other things existed. I'm sure like certain tribes for sure did know like about ayahuasca and all that shit, but it was like kept like concentrated to that area. But whereas like alcohol, like kind of like yeast and all that shit, fermentation just like was universal, and that just spread on its own.
Yeah, but that's man-made. I feel like there's a lot of things that are like naturally like found within Earth that's like a lot more accessible that our ancestors probably did use, that we weren't aware of. Because I mean, like, yeah, mushrooms can grow anywhere. Like psilocybin can grow anywhere.
But that's like a specific psilocybin. Like there's so many dangerous mushrooms and all that shit. Like
Yeah, for sure there is. But I'm sure like I mean people were able to figure out and differentiate like what's safe, what's not back then.
but that's like concentrated to like one like region. Like there's not like ledgers and all that shit for that other type of stuff, whereas like with alcohol, you just put in some oats and
But alcohol is like made. You have to like know how to make it. It's like you have to know the science. You have to like actually like ferment the grain. You have to do it. It's a whole ass process. You're not gonna just like.
but isn't that better without pictures like saying this is what like that mushroom looks like versus like because they didn't have pictures back then versus like you just passing down knowledge. You need these three ingredients to create this versus like go out in the wild, look for this specific cap. But there's so many different types of caps that's just more dangerous versus like alcohol, like where you have the ingredients to make it.
I mean that's I feel like an opinion.
How's that opinion? You can't. Photography just came in like last 100 or like plus years. Like back in the day, our ancestors didn't know this is like what a psilocybin mushroom is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's other things too. Like I mean, oh, like here, you can also just tell them like here's a bunch of these seeds. You can grow them, plant them, and you can grow it. Like you can also just tell them you can instruct them how to grow it as well.
That's true.
Like that's how you're still you're still gonna have to grow the grain the way that you need to grow it. You're just gonna have to like do the grapes the way you gotta do it. Like everything comes from a plant at the end of the day, and then you gotta like do the whole process. That's with anything though.
Wait. One question. Isn't mushroom spores like aren't there? It can't be seeds, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a way to grow it like somehow. Like I don't know if it's seeds or what, but I'm not a farmer.
It's just crazy to think that some of the stuff that we take for granted, like foods and stuff, it ended up all coming from natural selection and survival of the fittest. That someone had to fucking first try it out, possibly die to it to see if it's safe or not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's actually crazy to think about. Imagine a random person or like a random like ancestor just trying a fucking mushroom and dying on the spot, dude. That's kind of fucked up, like to think about.
Bro, mushrooms actually taste so fucking good. Like those shiitake mushrooms. Do you actually like mushrooms?
You know, only on pizza.
What do you mean only on pizza? You never had like a mushroom soup or like mushroom anything?
No.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors. Have you thought about starting a podcast but didn't know where to begin? If so, I'm here to tell you about this free tool called Anchor. Anchor allows you to create and edit your podcast from both your phone and the computer. On top of that, it distributes your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other locations, so you don't have to do it manually yourself. And if you thought that wasn't enough, it also allows for monetization, so you can actually make money from your podcast. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's everything you need to make a podcast. Now let's get back to the show.
Yo, you missing out big time. Anytime I can get something mushroomy, like I go for it. In the beginning, it used to taste slimy, but like now they actually got some flavor to them.
What's like the one weird food? Yeah, what's a food that you didn't like as a kid that you like now?
Vegetables.
No, obviously.
No, I actually enjoy vegetables now. I don't think I enjoyed them when I was growing up. I think it's only my parents made me eat them. I actually don't like gobi. I'd never liked gobi. I'll never like gobi. But other than that, like broccoli, all the carrots, like I actually started liking them.
I fuck with squash a lot when like my mom makes like sabji, whatever. That shit's fire.
Dude, it's kind of sad to think that like we're on like the very tail end of like our like because you're not gonna be cooking these sabjis like when you're older, right? Like
no, I want to learn. I actually want to learn. I actually thought about this. I hate cooking in general, but I think it goes back to like kind of retaining your culture and like learning how to like speak your language. I mean, obviously we know how to speak, but like write your language and stuff like that. It goes back to that. I want to be able to cook it to pass it down. You know, it's not necessarily I'll eat it all the time, but it's nice to know so you can pass it down to your, kids. I feel like eventually when I get to cooking, right now I fucking hate cooking, but like I feel like there will be a period where I'm like really into cooking and shit. I'm gonna learn like all the Indian like recipes that my mom makes and shit. I feel like it's just good to know and pass down.
Yeah. I mean, I want to do that too, but I don't really have a care for like the Punjabi cooking. I mean, I'll eat sabji at home, but it's not like something I like crave. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good food. Like when I'm home, like I'll eat it because I just grew up on it.
Fog hits, come on.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't like I never get a craving like, oh, I want sog. Like I never. You just get cravings for like particular sabjis like when you're not at home.
It's usually for sog, like wintertime. It has to be wintertime because that shit just hits different.
Yeah, I definitely get cravings. I get cravings for like palak paneer, paneer tikka, like paneer chicken paneer. I mean, I usually eat Indian food like at least once a week if I'm not even like at home. Like that's just like you gotta get it in. I mean, that's probably just you, but like I feel like a lot of people do enjoy Indian food.
I mean, I get cravings for I don't get cravings for sabji. I get cravings for like samosas or samosa chaat and all that other stuff. I get cravings for that because I get that like when I'm in Philly. But when I'm at home, like the kali dal or pili dal, like I never like when I'm in my apartment, I'm like, yo, let's get some kali dal going. Like, that's not like what I look forward to. Like when I'm thinking of a meal to eat, that doesn't come to my forefront. But like samosa chaat or like some Indian dishes like do come to my mind, like dosa and all that shit. Dosas are kind of fire.
I like dal way more than sabji.
Yeah, dal's fire. That's all I always get at the Gurdwara. I never get anything else. It's dal and rice. That's always go to.
Oh, rice? You get rice, not roti?
No, hell no. I like rice way more.
Oh, you are weird. That's weird.
My parents always ask me, like, I barely ever eat roti. I only usually eat with rice. Like, if they make a sabji, like, I'm more inclined to eat rice than roti. Like, if they give me an option of rice or roti, I usually pick rice.
Nah, I'm different. Like, I think it's certain, like, dals that I have to eat rice with that I, like, enjoy rice with more, but, like, saag or gajra di sabji and stuff like that, I like roti more.
Roti's cool. I mean, I don't mind roti, but, like, I don't know.
So if you had the option of rice or naan, what would you do then?
Rice always.
Seriously? Okay, so it's just rice.
I just enjoy rice.
Yeah, I hate rice. I barely ever eat rice. Like, I don't like desi. I don't like basmati rice. I don't like desi rice overall. Like chipotle rice is fine, but otherwise, like
Really, I feel like chole rice is so disgusting, dude. It's just so dry.
no, I just don't like that. I mean, I would definitely overeat it for sure. I think as a kid, that's like one food that like, oh, you grow up eating this food for so long that you get sick of it. I think I've come to that point.
I like basmati rice a lot. I just hate the fucking other types of rice that are so sticky and like clumpy. Yo, that shit is so disgusting to eat.
No, I like the clumpy rice, like the Asian rice.
No, I hate that shit.
I like bigger clumps. Like, yeah, you chew into it and shit. That's just fire.
I don't know. I need my rice to mix well with the stuff I'm putting on it. So like the clumpy rice does not mix well.
Yeah, facts. It depends on what you're eating. Like if you go to like a ramen shop and you get those little triangle rice balls that are like, what are they called? Like onigiri? Or no, not onigiri. I think it's onigiri. I don't know. But those like little seaweed wrapped rice things, those are kind of cool because those are made with sticky rice. But that's like the only thing I can think of. If I had the option to choose between like Asian rice or basmati rice, I'd go with basmati rice.
Isn't basmati Asian? That's from India.
Sorry, Indian, whatever. You know what I mean.
No, like I think our rice is actually called like basmati rice.
No, he was saying because India's in Asia. So it's like comparing Asia to Asia.
Yeah, you know what the most annoying thing is? There'll be like my dad or like my mom will be watching TV, and then this like fucking random ass person comes on that they watch, and he'll give like diet advice or food advice, and it's usually so fucking wrong. Like you know what I'm talking about, and then they'll try preaching it on you, and you're in your head, you're just like, yo, like you got like the guy that you're watching does not know what they're fucking talking about like half the time. And the worst part is they never do it themselves. They're like preachers of. Like they'll get the information from the TV and they'll preach it to you, but they'll never do it themselves. Like my dad will like have people over sometimes. So like, oh, you need to exercise, whatever. And this man had 2 heart surgeries and he barely moves, bro. Like he'll preach it to other people, but he won't do it himself.
Passing down the wisdom so you don't end up like him.
Yeah, but it's like just take your own advice, you know.
The man's just set in his ways. I don't know. Those nutritional shit, I feel like I don't know. Could you eat like I've been watching the Mr. Olympia shit because that just happened.
C-bomb.
Yeah, C-bomb. All that motherfucker eats is rice, potatoes, and either like different meat for like it's gonna be like chicken in the morning, steak, salmon, bison, and that's just like his only thing he just eats: rice, a little bit of potatoes, and a meat. So like I like always wonder like how this man just like scarfs that shit down in his body. That's like discipline on the next level. You don't even care about fucking taste.
I mean, I don't even think he cares about what he eats. He just cares about how he looks in terms of bodybuilding, right? That's like what his goal is. Like, yeah, you might not.
But shit gets so repetitive, dude. Like the ick that Rinku's talking about, where like he doesn't even look at rice anymore. I mean, like just doing that day after.
I think once you eat like a certain rate, like reach a certain age, though, like that, like once your like taste buds and everything are kind of like finalized and all that shit, I think it's like okay. Like I mean, I feel like I could go and eat the same shit every day. I mean, I did for like a year. It's just like same chicken, grilled chicken with like spices and shit and like vegetables and stuff. Like if the food is good, the food is good. I don't think you get like sick of it anymore because you're just already like everything's like finalized. You're not like adapting anymore. You're not like changing. Like your food taste buds aren't changing really. Like things are like sustainable now.
Yeah, no, but the Mr. Olympia, he's like a 4-time like Olympia champion now, right? Mr. Olympia champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Bump said basically like I feel like it's different, right? So like obviously if you enjoy food and like it's fine to try out different things, but I think he has that mentality where he wants to win. It's like that Mama mentality or MJ's mentality where he like wants to win at something, so he'll do whatever. So it's like who cares what the food tastes like as long as it's getting me to where I want in terms of my goal for the competition or like my bodybuilding. So like yeah, he probably fucking hates it, at the end of the day he probably hates eating the same shit every day, but it's like that goal and the obsession over his goal just drives him.
Would you ever take TRT?
No, dude, there's no point unless you're actually becoming like a professional bodybuilder or anything like that. It's not worth it if, like that's the only time it's worth it. But if you're doing it just to be healthy, that's not like, why would you take?
I think a lot of people take like testosterone though.
I mean, yeah, if it's a doctor recommended or something.
But I agree with you though. Like I feel like you have more to lose if you're like an average person being on gear than something to gain, because like when these bodybuilders do it, they get blood work done every other day to like monitor what their like whatever like molecule levels are, glycogen or whatever other shit, and then they kind of, because they have like clinicians, nutritionists, and all this shit on deck. An average person doesn't really have that unless you're gonna pay a little bit more out of pocket.
I mean, the average person is doing to get like going to the gym to get healthy and be more flexible and more like have more strength and all that stuff. Like, yeah, you might get there easy. You might look better with steroids and get a little bit more strength. But at the end of the day, like you're doing it for yourself. And I don't know, natural's just the best way to do it, I guess.
Do you take pre-workout?
I stopped recently.
Yeah, actually, I don't even take protein. I should start taking protein, but.
I mean, protein. You should take protein, creatine. Creatine's the most researched supplement. Like, there's no reason for you not to take creatine.
I don't take anything. I just drink water and that's it. I don't know. I'm always like kind of like what you're talking about. I don't even want to take any supplements. This is how my body is, and like the food itself.
You don't take vitamins. You don't take fish oil. Like that's just those aren't even supplements. Those are just nutrients at that point. Like fish oil has like research done to like help your joints and stuff like that.
I got my blood work done. Everything is like good. So I'm like, what is the point of taking this?
Because
like
you're not thinking about how you are now. You're supposed to be taking these simple supplements so your future's better. So your bones are better.
That's like my other like thing. Like, so if you start taking them now, do you kind of become like codependent on them? Like, would your body not produce as much because you're so fixated on the external? That's like I don't know if there's research done on that. Like, how do you like kind of teeter that line, like where like isn't it better to be like organic and natural until you're at the point where you need it, and then you should take it, rather than trying to like prep yourself up and then be dependent on it, and then your body just like, all right, I don't need to produce this much because we know like this shit's gonna come in through an external source. Like, isn't that like how it works? Like your body's just like,
I mean, main reason why people are using vitamins is because usually they're not getting that kind of like stuff from their diet. Essentially, yeah, like if you're eating a good diet, you should get everything you need. Like ancestors didn't have any kind of supplemental vitamins. They still lived all these long ass lives and like were fine because they got everything from diet and nutrition. I mean, you have all these like restrictive diets of being vegan, being vegetarian, being eating only fish and stuff. I mean, yeah, you gotta supplement with like what you need. Like we don't have well-balanced diets, so we try to supplement that. Like I agree. I mean, if everything's good and you're in check, then yeah, there shouldn't really be a need for you to take extra supplemental vitamins.
I think a lot of those other things like kind of build up on it. Like if you're low in something, that it could have a cascading effect. So like if you're already, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a fucking doctor, but like my whole concern was like more so like, yes, like it's good to just take vitamins, but my like whole concern was like, if my body, I don't have any adverse events right now from like lack of anything, why supplement something that I don't need? I feel like it has more of a harm, like where I'm too scared about that shit until my doctor says I need it. I'm staying away from that shit, bro.
Man's over here afraid of gummies.
Flintstone gummies. Those actually taste so fucking good. I remember I had them a while back.
I just think most of it's preventative, right? You think of it in terms of like the opposite. It's like when it happens, then I'll worry about it.
That's how modern medicine is. That's what needs to change. Because you wait till something goes wrong and then you try to fix it. But you should be trying to prevent it before you create the problem. Yeah,
I feel like that's why I agree. I agree with Harvey. It's like preventative for me. Like even like something like wrinkles or something, or like, people can prevent wrinkles if they do retinol and stuff, like take care of the skin. Yeah, you guys might do just water, but it's proven that if you do retinol, your wrinkles don't happen as much. You know, it's just preventative. I think preventative is better than finding out, I have a heart attack and my diet's bad and like I'm deficient in this, I'm losing hair because I'm deficient in iron or something like that. All right, let's just do songs of the week. Lucky, you go first.
Mine's gonna be Her by Shub. I actually didn't like it in the beginning, but it actually grew on me a lot.
Why are you? Oh my God.
It just released like a month ago, dog. What do you mean?
I feel like you picked the most popular songs. There's nothing new that you bring, you know? You gotta bring some new shit.
All right, fine. I'll do Little Taj, like Arrive. DJ's gonna get pissed because I gave 2 songs now.
You literally every time
I give a song and y'all like, oh, it's not good enough. So like, what do you want from me, bro?
give the most popular song in the week.
Bro, this is what I listen to. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not in here like in the lab like searching for like, oh, the most underground shit, the most like next level shit.
You
Like,
don't just listen to random shit. Like I don't listen to popular shit all the time. I'll just listen to random shit, like random artists. Like, do you not do that anymore?
not really. Like, it's just like whatever goes on Apple Music Play. Like, it's just like become more like that. Like, I don't have time to like look around like to see like who's like coming out with new stuff. I just like kind of like the artists I like and then like play songs similar to that.
I feel back in the day, you used to be so into like just finding different artists and shit. Not even finding different artists, but like
I used to go on Hot New Hip Hop a lot and then go through like the new songs there, and that's how I would find like new stuff. But like that, I don't have time for that shit now, bro. But I don't know. How do you find new shit now?
I don't know. I just literally just I don't look for it. It just like randomly comes up and I'm like, oh, this shit's fire. Like I'll just like on Spotify, be like, yo, there's a feature on this song. Click the feature, like the guy, and I'll be like, oh, what are his top 5 songs? And just like look through his discography. Like I don't go out of my way to look for it, but, you know, it just happens.
Well, I mean, I don't really consume entertainment like that too. Like outside of like just working, and like what I watch is usually just like podcasts or anime. So like, or like sometimes Twitch people, and those Twitch streamers, like whenever they're playing music in the background, that's like how I usually find like random shit. But I kind of stopped watching streams outside of academics. So like, I don't know, my entertainment consumment has like kind of been like just
I mean, you're into.
podcasts.
I mean, I'm not into anime or podcasts. You're just into different, I guess,
Yeah.
genre.
Like back in the day, like I think it was just Hot New Hip Hop that would like exposed me to like new shit. Like, cause like they just put on everything, and then like honestly, that's how I think I found out artists back in the day. Hot New Hip Hop. I miss that website. I mean, it's still up, but I don't go on it as much.
All right, so my song of the week song of the week is gonna be "Stay Awake" by 451. That shit's it's a like R&B track, kind of like, you know, ride in the night type of track. It's dope. Harvey,
True. I'm gonna go Face to Face, Juice World.
is that like a posthumous album or like?
New song that just dropped like last week.
Oh, so it was posthumous. So I didn't hear the song at all.
How do you feel about that? Them just releasing music like without after he's like gone.
I mean, why not? Like that's just like what I think. Like it only benefit like if it benefits the family. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I don't care as long as
It's a banger.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most of these artists record music for the world to be hearing it. I mean, I guess they probably don't have like the say of like, yeah, I want the sound, don't want the sound, but I think they trust enough people to know that like, yeah, this belongs to be out and this doesn't.
Like if I was an artist and I like in my will be like, yo, release all my shit. Like that's how I would think of it, you know, even if it's trash.
I think Juice's mom has like a lot of role in terms of what comes out and what doesn't.
I was just wondering if like they're like thinking, oh, this shit is like cringe, like themselves, and that's why they didn't put it out. But even though like it's heat, like that's like the only I think probably like the thing is right, like something that we think is really fire, like they personally don't think it's that good. I mean, I personally don't have a problem with it either. I feel like if it's just a fucking banger, put that shit out. All right, this has been another episode of Brown Boy Chronicles. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you for watching the Brown Boy Chronicles. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. All of our episodes can be found on every streaming platform. If you guys want to follow us on any social media, it can be found in the episode description. Also, if you guys have any business inquiries, please feel free to email us at brownboychronicles1@gmail.com. Thank you.